Today we continue to talk about menopause and how we can navigate menopause and woman aging, understand midlife in women's terms of hormones, brain and body, and general well-being from age of 30 and onwards. The journey begins from age of 30s. Yes, the aging for women start from age of 30. A lot of us probably wouldn't recognize it and will stand on deny because we're still young and beautiful. However, they all need to understand, yes, aging for women and this journey starts from age of 30. It's a gradual and very step-by-step reduction in terms of testosterone. We have metabolism shifting, so metabolism start to slow down, and that's happening very, very slowly. So we have to learn about it, what changes, and more important, notice the changes and when exactly when entering them. Hormones that shape aging in a woman. I want to mention here two the most important hormones, and I would like to outline progesterone, even more important than estrogen. They're both important. By why? Because progesterone is calming hormones that regulate our mood and helping us to sleep better. So this is a hormone who making women in the peak of her attractiveness, in her mood and control and in terms of emotional well-being. And when progesterone start to go into decline, women start notice a lot of different issues in terms of her mental health and well-being. Her mood shifts, goes up and down. And the progesterone quite often linked with periods. And here I have to highlight severe bleeding during the period in women who suffer from a lot of blood loss during the periods. It's linked to progesterone and concentration of progesterone. Please don't suffer. Talk to your healthcare professional and find the right solution linked to progesterone test and maybe some sort of contraception or hormonal therapy that will help you to protect your well-being and calmness. The second, the most important, and of course in terms of metabolic health, not mental and calming health, estrogen playing the key role. And estrogen is well known as the main female hormone. That estrogen have different forms: estradiol, estrone, estriol, and they're key for brain function, bone health, and heart health. And of course, with age, women lose an estrogen. So testosterone is another hormone, and this is hormone of energy. This is hormone of sex drive, and this is hormone of motivation. And women peak usually in testosterone age of 25, mid-20s, before age of 30s. From age of 30s, this hormone go into decline. And from age of 30s is essential and very important for every single woman start physical activity and take it more seriously, have more physical activity, sign up to the gym and have a regular physical activity and gym exercise routine. Other hormones like follicle stimulating hormones, they are more ovarian function, very important, mainly for women who want to conceive and start a family in terms of children. What is in terms of perimenopausal and menopausal? As we know, of course, that means women stop having her periods for 1 year. However, these changes mainly, majority of the time, happen gradually. Some will experience quite sudden and very fast changes, and they're not ready psychologically and metabolically. However, I want to explain you how we can slightly notice and shift our changes. Majority of us women, first of all, menopause and perimenopause, all the women will go through. Nobody will be able to escape. So we all will go through, and the way how ready we'll be and how much knowledge we're going through this time will explain how quality of our life with different words. So a lot, so maybe you heard that your doctors wouldn't be very happy then you have a different shift to test a lot of your hormones. And why? Because hormones fluctuate up and down, and hormones in general is very, very hard to catch. We need to have a lot of data. Here I can say that women are different. We all have different brain, if you like, shifts. Some of us like order. They want to know numbers. We want everything to be, okay, this is my numbers now. This is how many grams. And this is the different brain function, if you like. And if you're the person who really likes to control what's your levels in every single year, compare them, and you feel relaxation and you feel safe, do. Once a year, you can, from age of 30, 35, you can do your blood test in certain amount, so speak to your healthcare provider with a women's clinic, gynecologist, or even GP, and support your shift. However, it is not really recommended because for normal person, if you don't understand the numbers, you might have extra anxiety, you might have extra thoughts, and you might interpret this result in correct way. So that's why healthcare professionals, we do not recommend you too much unless you don't have severe concerns about the health and they need to investigate something, you to do the blood test. A lot of them now available online. Different laboratories offer perimenopause or menopause or shifts and blood tests. If you do so, make sure you have support in terms of literature, in terms of knowledge, or your book. Professional consultation, and check your results with support. We have to track our transition, so how we do it and when we should start notice. Of course, they should start to track earlier as age of 40. I'm in my 40s and I start notice and learn more, and every woman from age of 40 ideally need to get extra knowledge in terms of her age and the changes where she is going through. Because if you notice symptoms before age of 40, and sadly with modern diet and modern sedentary lifestyle, a lot of women experience severe perimenopause symptoms before even age of 40, then you have to start tracking before. Once the symptoms arose, please record them and seek professional help. Of course, number one here is a period tracks. So it's regularity. If your periods start changing the calendar, shifting for more than 5 days, that is the first alarm. So you need to start investigation and to find out what's going on. Is that perimenopausal or any other issues that you need to find out what exactly to protect quality of your life. Then in symptoms in terms of your mood, your libido, your sleep quality, and your cognitive function, how you respond to the stress comparison to before. Because if you notice some shifts, they're probably not anxiety, they're probably not depression, you're not getting mad. This is your hormonal shift. And what we want to prevent now, all healthcare system, prevent you from unneeded antidepressants, unneeded anti-anxiety medication. So many things you can manage just simply changing your lifestyle and with your mindfulness, with your breathing techniques and the acceptance of your organism, what's going on. Majority of the time, there is no anxiety. Majority of the time, there is no depression or mental breakdown. It's just hormonal shifts that women can't recognize, can't name, and don't know how to manage the symptoms without medication. Why every woman experiences different way? Because first of all, we all have different genetics. They have all different lifestyle. They have different traumas when you're going through, have different relationships. They have different stress level. They have different culture. And all these symptoms, we need to put them together. Estrogen receptors in the brain and different organs also different. Some women getting more sensitive, some less sensitive because all over we have, mainly in the female organism, we have estrogen receptors, and none symptoms will confirm that you're perimenopausal. such symptoms do not exist. There is no one unique symptom, say X, Y, Z. If you have that, there's many perimenopause. No, we need to look in general your quality of your life. If the symptoms become unbearable, if it's affecting your daily life comparison than before, and the shifts going the same as a circle, and you don't know how to get out of this circle, then yes, please seek a professional help. Most common symptoms, and in terms of hormonal aging, is number one, it's irregular periods. They might become a little bit heavier. If they're heavy, they're linked with progesterone level or lighter flows. Hot flashes is another of them, one of the most popular and the most inconvenient and stressful for women is the night sweats and with sudden hot flashes. As a result, a lot of women suffer from sleep disruption, waking up regularly because of the hot flashes. They're hot and then they're instantly cold. They have a different type of brain fogs. They problem solving, changing the mood, going up and down like roller coasters. They become more irritable. They believe nobody loves them or don't understand them. They might experience a lot of changes, think fatigue. They don't understand what's going on. They feel a bit mad and crazy. And a lot of women might experience weight gain. And as a result of weight gain, usually insulin sensitivity, and the issue lay down in the diet, the way how they respond to the sugar. And the insulin and glucose level probably spike up and down because estrogen does affect so many different hormones, all in total. And if your estrogens go up and down, the same go all other hormones and glucose levels and insulin and sleep pattern changes, neurotransmitters in the brain, everything gets affected. Vaginal dryness is an affecting intimacy with your partner, not satisfied emotionally with intimacy, with closeness, with friendship, with everything. So women start to blame everything around her. Nothing is, she's unsatisfiable. Whatever you do, it's not going to work. Women need to accept that and make reasonable changes in her lifestyle. Of course, such changes affect metabolic health. If you enter an age of 40, it's very important to understand what estrogen and changes, how they affect another metabolism. And of course, it's a lower estrogen level affecting visceral fat. This bellies, and we all prefer to have a flat bellies, and from age of 40 much harder. You notice that diet the same, but you start put on weight. Your belly, you feel like you're bloated, you have a more and more visceral fat, and you didn't change anything. Well, this is a sign that you need to change, because estrogen affecting, as I said, in terms of insulin sensitivity and your glucose intake, your carbs you're taking need to be changed. So diet need to be changed, and here we all will be different. What type of spikes we have, how our organisms metabolism start to regulate such spikes, how high they go, after that, how low they drops. So that's why continue glucose monitoring, diet changes, physical activity, before food, after movements, after your food, the way how you're taking your nutrition here in your diet play a crucial role in physical activity. Cholesterol changes, and cholesterol is a crucial hormone for a lot of hormones, is very crucial as well, might go up sky high because of insulin, and estrogen used to protect, and when estrogen go into decline, we don't have such protection. And here it's very important to check your blood regularly, your triglyceride level, your sugar levels, and of course your visceral fat and physical activity, because this is the time as well when you start to lose your muscle much faster. Estrogen is protection. When estrogen go disappearing, going away from us, women start to be unprotected. And this vulnerability she starts to feel from everywhere. So she become much more vulnerable. She's seeking these protections, reassurance. She get much more anxious, and this anxiety is very normal for women because she become much more vulnerable. And we need to do something about it, and they can improve it because quality of life will be affected. Testosterone is a very important hormone, and as I said before, from age of 30, testosterone starts to go into decline. Is a peaking around age 25, then women in her peak and attractiveness in terms of her mood and the way she control herself. So in general, she's in her primes, but from age of 30 start to go into decline. As a result, it's hard to build up muscle. You just need to be more careful. She needs to exercise more and pay attention. Of course, do not put extra weight and control the weight. And such changes as well might reduce woman libido. So it means her sex drive goes down, and she might say she's not interested in intimacy, and it's very much harder to convince her to get closer. She gets more cold with her partner, and she doesn't understand. It gets like disgust. She might even have this disgust. When it happens, it's very hard to predict. Maybe age of 35, maybe age of 40 or 45. But this is the first sign that testosterone gone into decline. Women shouldn't stay alone. If you notice such symptoms that need to be addressed, ideally with healthcare professionals, because we have different tools and different medications. Natural lifestyle approach that I will teach and I promote, of course, is lifestyle, is physical activity. Nothing can increase testosterone better than physical activity. However, in menopause, we do prescribe testosterone. Whereas so far in the UK is off license. Off license, that means there is no specially designed medication available via NHS, for example, for women. In Australia, they have special medicine gel form especially designed for women. In the UK, we're using prescriptions of male testosterone with specific dosage needed by specific woman's need, depends on her age, her symptoms. It's very complex, so please don't buy testosterone online. Don't use your partners or something I know, because it might be dangerous. Prescription medicines are prescription for a reason, because you have to be monitored by healthcare professionals. We have special protocols. We know how to prescribe, how to start, and if needed, where to refer. So please don't inject anything. Don't take prescription medicine without consulting healthcare professionals. Proper investigation and monitoring here, mainly for the first 3 to 6 months, are essential. But there is a lot of options how we can help. Cultural differences and racial differences, I would say. The most side effects in terms of hot flashes will experience Black women and African descent women, and the least Japanese and Korean. And this is mainly linked to the diet and the lifestyle, because in Asia, they consume a lot of soy product and they are phytoestrogens. Women much more protected by the natural source of the food because they consume a lot. If there is no lot of soy product in your diet, you might experience more hot flashes and more this hot flashes result with hot and cold, and they affect your lifestyle. In average, they might last from 5 to 10 years. So vasomotor symptoms caused by thermoregulation. There is no one, I would say, common clue why it's happening. So we can't just say why a woman might experience that. It's so many different triggers. It's, of course, the lifestyle, it's genetics, it's the way of what women consume, alcohol, smoking, caffeine, what is her sleep, what's her stress level, what's her quality of life, And of course, her educational level, because on the end of the day, it's a brain thermoregulation that comes from the brain, and it's very hard to predict and say why exactly a woman experienced severity as well varies severely. So somebody just a little bit, some experience severe and unbearable hot flashes. What might help in terms of lifestyle approach? First of all, is exercise. Exercise is number one help, and the woman should start this from age of 30, because that's normal aging. Before that, we know schools are usually quite good. They have very good programs for boys and girls for physical activities before they leave in the school by age of 17, 18 in their teens. But then for 10 years, they're left, I would say, alone. And quite often by age of 30, they're full of life. They're full of career. They start building their families. And women get overwhelmed by responsibilities. And physical activity, usually, when you have 2 little children or 3 children, depends on the woman, or very, very hard work shadow, paying mortgages, all the bills, dealing with all sorts of relationships. Our 30s, they're so intense. Majority of us, this is like the boom of responsibility, everything. They can't even cope because it's too much. And of course, we're taking it because it's family important and the children. And it's very hard to fit extra physical activity in terms of concentration. If you have to work, look after the children, to be a good wife, to look good, and then remember you have to read, to develop, and go to the training on the holiday and plan everything, just getting overwhelmed. And this is something that should be planned, discussed with your family members, and marked if you feel overwhelmed and you can't cope, because it's absolutely, we all know it's too much. We all know that modern life and women responsibilities passing far away beyond acceptable and beyond manageable, and that triggers an anxiety and mental health and metabolic health. None of us will be able to manage it normal way. So we have to cut off something. We need to find out what we can cut and where. So what's the triggers as well? Another triggers is spicy food, alcohol intake, and caffeine. Please make sure you don't drink coffee after midday, after lunch, or even before lunch, ideally. And alcohol, dear ladies, alcohol is a very strong predictor of being unwell. And unfortunately, some women have practiced drinking alcohol at night. First of all, it's a sleep killer. It's a health killer. If here and there, once a month, you have half a glass or something for socializing, it's okay. But if you're taking every single day, that's alarming. And you have to, again, discuss with your partner. I understand that alcohol in modern lives is some sort of connection and some sort of social event. Wherever we go, it's wine or some sort of alcohol. And if you don't drink, you decline to drink, they feel out of socializing, and it's bad. The culture needs to be changed. They should be addressed. There is more and more information about harmful effect on health in general. But for women, it's very important to say no. I hope the culture in business, in corporates, will be more healthy approach for women, and will have more healthier options to celebrate something or make it more warmer, unite people together in a workplace. Practices like sleep and sleep routine, or I would say rituals, that's very important. Sleep is very huge part of lifestyle medicine, and I will record more lectures about importance, how we can navigate the sleep and how we can create this routine maybe for women from age of 40 onwards, because sleep is huge protection from symptoms and our mental cognitive decline. Breathing, yoga, and mindfulness. Yoga not for everyone. I absolutely not yoga. If you want to stress me, ask me to sit in half an hour or 1 hour in yoga class. I try to force myself so many times, but if yoga not for you, it's just not for you. Nothing wrong with that. We have so many different ways how we can create this mindfulness and connect it to yourself and calm down. Just find your way. It might be reading, it might be walking, it might be just some sort of peace moment or daydreaming. Just find what's suitable for you. Connection with the nature, or just look in the sky. There's so many different options. Just find what's suitable for you, and you can breathe and get connected to yourself. And of course is your healthy weight. Healthy weight, older they get, the more, I would say, more closer to the middle range of our BMI we should be. But of course the guidelines shouldn't be in terms of weight, because more weight quite often might be linked to other muscles. It's a waist. Yeah, so if the waist for women is number one predictor, if it's more than 80 centimeters, that you should probably start taking action to reduce your waist. Don't worry about hips. Hips is absolutely safe. If you have slim waist and a little bit bigger hips, it's absolutely fine. No worry about it. No, don't worry about fat on your back. Once your waist is good size, no worries. And I know self-esteem during the menopause or perimenopause, or the hormones going down, women start to worry about so many different things, trying to, again, breathe and learn about it. You're beautiful the way you are, and you need to accept it. Just do the right thing. Learn about things. Learn where you're missing knowledge and how to address them. Brain fog. What's happening for brain fog? It's estrogen, and brain fog are terrible because women think she's getting mad and she's driving crazy. I can say, if you don't hear noises and somebody telling you what to do, this terrible hallucination. If there's no hallucination, you're fine. If you see hallucinations, that something is triggered. is not need to be addressed too much and worried too much. And hallucination, yes, there's something you're getting over triggered, and you need to help, professional help in this case for sure. But if you don't have it, is serotonin and dopamine up and down at absolutely normal. So you just need to find a way how you will bring this calmness. Breathing usually helps, because central nervous system can't concentrate on one. So it's one or another. And when you practice this deep breathing, you calm it down. There's no way. Just a question of the time when you will calm down, how many breathe techniques you will use. So early later, when you start to practice this breathing, you will manage to control it much, much faster. So just have a break. You feel overwhelmed. You know your triggers. Maybe it's heart palpitations. It might be your shaky hands. Your mind. We all have these symptoms. They should be able to recognize and name it. And then you start act. What type of breathing techniques used for you? What's working for you the best? How long does it take till you calm down? Just take your time during a stressful moment. Go somewhere in a peaceful place and practice mindfulness. Practice this breathing. Brain glucose metabolism. I have a lecture about brain metabolism. We're talking type 3 diabetes. Is the way how our brain consumes glucose. And this is the main reason of brain fog, because estrogen go down and all our organisms start to use glucose slightly different. Receptors in the brain as well, not exception. And this is number one reason of brain fog, anxiety, low self-esteem of women during perimenopause, or from anything from age of 30. If women experience it before, there's probably a link to progesterone and her menstrual cycle, her hormonal shifts as well. And she might feel even worse during perimenopausal time. So if she experienced severity even before age of 30, she should actually take it seriously and find a way how to relax in her 30s. And sugar monitoring here is essential. Probably even low carb diet. Low carb diet, we're trying to avoid direct sugars, any simple sugars, including honey. If women believe that honey is very natural and is not the same as sugar, on the end of the day, for our organism, honey is the same simple sugar and will drive you crazy like any other sugar. They ideally want to reduce all of them, and if needed, go to even low carb, very low carb, with different words, just asparagus, spinach, broccoli, that sort of things. Very, very low carb vegetables. Limit some fruits, or take fruits with limited way in the right order on the end as part of dessert. Brain metabolism here playing a crucial role, and sugar and glucose. Practice intermittent fasting if you have extra resources. Don't practice intermittent fasting if you're in BMI lower than 21, I would say. Be careful, because it might be more damage than benefits for you. Or make sure, if you more in a slim pattern, make sure you consult a healthcare professional. Here we want to see the shift, how you survive this fasting period in terms of your spike of glucose and central nervous system response to your drops of your sugar. Results: if you consume a lot of sugars, you're going through hormonal shifts. Expect low focus, irritability, severe anxiety, depression, and addictions. Quite often women can't cope with that, and she get prescribed antidepressants, absolutely no needs for them, and she got into the loop this she can't get out. Exit to that, quite often she might add alcohol, binge eating. She's eating even more because she is stressed, and this is way how she coping with the stress. Smoking might add on. Addictions like spending money or buy something extra to feel better and increase her self-esteem. And there's a lot of addictions might comes on from age of 30, so you need to be careful. HRT. HRT is a hormone replacement therapy. It's growing incredibly, super fast. Professionally, we have different feedbacks. Some countries and self-healthcare professionals highly recommend it. Some have negative responded. I can say here is very important, depends on situation, depends on symptoms, depends on quality of life. Every response and every recommendations will be different, and it's so complex. I can't advise you, because here you need to approach women's health clinic, gynecologist, or specialize in menopause one-to-one and discuss it individual basis, because estrogen replacement therapy might improve memory, might improve your attention, might reduce your brain fog and delay neurodegenerations, but they need to be, first of all, starting the time. It means if you suffer from severe symptoms by age of before 45, 100%, and if the symptoms are around perimenopause or hitting you strongly, it probably is a good idea to start hormonal replacement therapy. And what to expect, it will be around for 10 years, and two hormones usually prescribed together is estrogen and progesterone. So, emotional and psychological changes, probably the most overwhelming for women in general lifestyle. We're much more emotional in comparison to men. Every single man for us will be, if you like, in the spectrum of autism, because our brain is much more emotional and they're much more emotionally rich. And of course, estrogen playing here the key role. Men don't have so much estrogen in comparison to women, and this is our richness. Estrogen and these emotional shifts, that's woman. That's it. We're going up and down. It's all the time. And that's make us women. So we shouldn't be ashamed of that. We need to acknowledge that, understand what's going on. We need to get knowledge needed for us and know how we can manage anxiety, how we can manage our mood swings, how we address depression and other feelings, and more important, where we can get the support needed. Oxytocin here, it's a hugs, it's a contact, is talk to your friend, for your partner, to your family, to your loved ones, are very important. So that's why your tiredness, irritability, you should make it as normal, this oxytocin boosting time every single day. The more stress you have, more disconnection you need, more support you need from your family. And don't be shy to ask for that. Don't be shy to explain what you're going through. It's hard, but you need a treat, that you need to boost your confidence, that you need some treatment, but you need to, I would say, support. It's expensive. I can say it's very, very expensive. So practicing aesthetic practitioner, I can say that aesthetic medicine here making huge changes, huge, but it's very expensive. And a lot of women simply don't want to spend the time. And it's not like she doesn't want. We don't have such money because they have a mortgage to pay, they have children, and priorities. Women quite often given all the resources outside. She's not treating herself in the way she should. If you want to do it cheap, it takes a lot of time, and it's really impossible to do it cheap. Women, we are expensive creatures. We need the time. We can't work 24/7. No way. We need time to restore our energy, and they need the time for the mindfulness much more than men. Testosterone is much more motivation. Is a different hormone comparison to estrogen. So that's why women going for this shift squat, closing down, opposite. She shouldn't, but well, she get isolation. She thinks she's a trouble. She thinks that she only creating people problems. And as a result, she's closing down and get depressed. And she needs to opposite. She needs to go and talk about it. She just need to say, yes, I understand this is XYZ happened with me. And it's very hard. I don't sleep. I don't eat, or I overeat. I feel overwhelmed, I'm tearful, my emotions go up and down, and it's normal, nothing wrong. And you don't need medication, you don't need to treat it, you just need to use how to manage it. Now let's talk about weight and muscle aging. And of course, weight is a part of, we believe, attractiveness, and of course, attractiveness is health. That's why we need to keep our weight in health range. Do you know that actually we're all different, and our bone structure will say us a lot? And here you can Google it or ChatGPT it. Find what is your wrist measurements, and then you know approximately by your bone structure, by your wrist, what is ideal weight for you. That means that is average weight, depends on your wrist. Sometimes they have an elbow length. If you Google, you can measure them all and find what is ideal weight for you. And try to get there. Try to get into this weight range, because your bone and your structure, they all have a different shape in terms of hips, in terms of ribs, in terms of wrist, and be designed for different weight. And if you're underweight, you will feel discomfort. And if you're overweight, you'll feel discomfort. So here is two biases. Somehow, slim woman is more sign of youth and health, but it's not true. We need to know what is right weight for you. And a lot of women suffering or sitting in these terrible diets. They have suffer from anorexia, or binge eating, psychological disorder, to be slim. They edit these pictures on different platforms to make this slim waist, to make bigger hips, or they buy these pads. They use these terrible bandages, to change their figure and change their shape. And that's wrong. Yeah, please accept the way and know your measurements, know your healthy standard. Some women are more muscly than another, some less, some hold a little bit more fat. And if you will take away this fat, what's designed, what need for you, you will have a lot of hormonal shifts, even worse, mainly for estrogen. So your place where your body store this fat for estrogen is crucial. So don't try to rid off of that. If you have this tiny little fat on your belly or in your hips or on your legs, on the thighs, this is place for your fat to be there. Don't try do the surgeries, injectables to remove this fat, because it will be no fat that will only negatively affect your hormonal level and make your perimenopausal symptoms only worse. Here's a crucial to understand that. Don't over-exercise. Don't be too lean, because very lean and too lean women, they experience even more side effects comparison with women with a little bit extra weight. So too lean and overweight. So here we need to find the right. So for some women with some metabolic changes, biological changes, very hard to put on weight. That might be different reasons why it's not easy. High metabolic rate, for example, or stress, different reasons why they're slim. But don't be jealous for this woman, because they suffer probably even more than women with this a little bit extra kilos on the belly and on the thighs. So fat distribution we discussed. Less testosterone, harder to build and maintain the muscles and the sex drive. Low muscles, the higher risk of insulin resistance, because insulin muscles play a very important role in metabolism. More muscle we'll have. Of course, we don't need to be bodybuilders. No way women will be that muscular as a man. Of course, we all have different structures, but we shouldn't be bodybuilders. We still should have this fat, and we shouldn't be absolutely lean. Women, we need the fat for estrogen. And if you're absolutely lean, is not that good. It's good to be healthy. And a healthy range, every woman will have these different numbers. But of course, resistant training and essential metabolic, you can calculate them. I have different videos in proteins and physical activity. Then there is a lot of referrals, how you can calculate your necessary proteins intake and exercise, and how to get the numbers suitable for you. Sexual life in midlife is linked to, of course, hormonal changes, and here testosterone playing a very important role. Women who don't exercise and have a hormonal shift, they might notice low libido is psychological effects, so many different factors involved in here. I think women have lack of support from healthcare professionals, is some sort of taboo, and we've been recommended to talk more about it. Even on social media, we're not talking too much about sexuality, about sex drive, about sexual intercourse with our partners, and we're not addressing it. Been recommended, I will record sexual health independently via Zoom to make sure I'm not get blocked on Instagram and other platforms, because this topic, a lot of, I would say, not adultery, I would mean some sort of toys and stimulants involved. There's some women found unacceptable because of the cultural shifts, because of religion. So many women have so many restrictions, and even women offer that or bringing this on the table and in the bedroom. The partner also gets spotlighted. Where do you learn that? And she gets suspicious by the man if she's more relaxed about, I would say, that bed department. But it's very important to address it. It's very important to talk about it from medical point of view and benefits, because from age of 30, that health department of the health help women to go cognitive stimulation, reducing brain fogs, and this physical part of neuro, I would say, stimulation important. That women might feel changes, a lot of changes in terms of in terms of her body and insecurity. The main changes that she might notice is vaginal dryness, and here they can address it with different form of estrogen gels. We can use different, for women, moisturizers based on hyaluronic acid, again is intravaginal application. Very important to discuss concerns or problems of your partner and get the budget for solution for that. Testosterone therapy, as we discussed before, might be a good option, might support physical activity, sign up to the gym or regularly do physical activity. Pelvic floor therapy, electromagnetic stimulation, for example. I have a chair, then women sit in the chair, and electromagnetic stimulation actually can creating this stimulation to pelvic floor muscle. And vaginal regeneration, we have different forms. We use PRP, platelet-rich plasma therapy, radiofrequency like Termiva, fractional laser, so many options. That is aesthetic gynecology. You need to, probably the best to discuss with healthcare professionals specialized in that, but it's very expensive, quite expensive and painful. There is a lot of options there, but unfortunately at the moment it's still novelties, not novelties. I perform these procedures myself. They're very good. I would say woman from age of 35, if she has this extra money or options to try it, please do, because you'll feel difference. Urinary tract and pelvic floor changes is then women might, even after the pregnancy, after delivery of the baby, she might feel more urgencies in terms of urinary, passing urine, burning sensation after passing urine, and that is linked to reduction of estrogen. Frequent urinary tract infections that she might experience more inflammation after intimacy and intercourse, and all that linked to low estrogen and changes in hormonal shifts. How we can protect our midlife and the core pillars. First of all, of course, is awareness and knowledge. Listen, subscribe, buy some books, and get connected to yourself. Record your symptoms and try to name what do you feel and how you feel. Daily movement here is very important. Strength training, and make sure every single day you do something physical, you move around, mainly after your food intake. Nutrition here play crucial. Protein, fiber, phytoestrogens. This is time to take it differently. We have so many different apps. We have so many different options how you can monitor and track how much you eat. Here's the time, take it seriously. And there is a time to design yourself a special diet and say no to carbs, mainly for simple carbs. Sleep optimization, the cool, darkness, make this sleep routine for you. Me time is beauty procedures before you go to bed, meditation, light therapy, maybe special glasses, that sort of thing is very important. Emotional support, make sure you're not left alone. Make sure you have people you can talk about it. Healthcare professional, expert. Make sure these people have medical or healthcare background, not bloggers online, because menopause getting very popular and it's a lot of money industry. A lot of people trying to drag money in terms of psychology, some sort of, I noticed to get so many daily or very short courses to train to support women during menopause. Be careful and choose wisely. Make sure person who advise you have special education and special training, ideally some sort of medical background or healthcare background, is a doctors, nurses, pharmacists, I don't know, occupational health specialist, somebody who has the good knowledge of metabolism and physiology, biology, and anatomy of human body. Ideally, you want this to be a prescriber who will be able to prescribe and support you with medication if needed. Because if you have needs, basic needs, of course, sometimes you just need this extra support. And people who has a right to prescribe medicine, they have a different responsibility. They're not gonna give you something just because of the money, usually, because we have very strict ethics. They have a strict regulation body. And if you do something against other regulation, then you lose all your registration and privileges of call yourself healthcare professional. We base to help and support human health, not to harm. And people online quite often these daily courses available or low knowledge professional. They're mainly oriented on profit, on the money. So make sure you choose this advice wisely and listen and approach people with properly trained background, I would say. Educate yourself on the way of stress management, breathing, nature, boundaries. Say no, learn this, say no, it's not suits you. I gave so many lectures about friendship, about nutrition, about lifestyle. Lifestyle here is very important, and there is a lot of information there. Trying to introduce yourself slowly, read more books, more meaningful, find your values. So many things to do. Menopause is, I would say, beautiful aging, and we need to age gracefully. Age gracefully. That means accept aging, understand maturity is very important. Please, if you're age of 40 plus, I'm in my 40s, I'm not 20. And this is my richness. I'm not 20 years old girl, not pretending to be 20 years old. They need to accept aging, they need to accept changes. They're still beautiful. We're much wiser. We're intelligent. They mature, and maturity here is the key word. They are different view. We see different the world in comparison to 20 years old. Yes, 20 years old girls and women, or let's say us 20 years ago, it depends how many years, we're different. It was a different person. That's why self-love and self-acceptance, be nice, and self-love is self-discovery. Self-love doesn't mean you go and buy yourself a new pair of shoes or Louis Vuitton handbag. No, that's not self-love. Self-love, and you are living by accepting the way you are and living by your values and by your desires. So that means age of 40 is beginning. It's not the end. It's beginning of maturity. It's beginning of wiseness. If you get that with wise approach, with the right approach, this is a time when you need to learn. This is a time when you need to practice. This is the time when you need to explore. You might go into severe decline, or you might bloom. You might bloom like a beautiful rose. You might turn into this real beautiful woman you've never been before, and enjoy this time as never before, and call these years the best years of your life. From age of 40 to 60, if we do it right way, it's the most beautiful years of our life. So let's learn how to live them with most benefits. It's just a new phase of our life. With right support, we can thrive, not die. And we can empower the same young generations from age of 30, share experience. So talk to your daughters, to your nieces, granddaughters, depending on your age, or just the friends of different girls who are coming in. We're responsible. Every single woman, we are responsible for younger generation. Doesn't matter, you're a teacher, you're a friend, a healthcare professional. If you see this tiny little creature, we need to pass this knowledge, because parents, mainly for teenagers, make sure your daughters have this right woman. Maybe you don't have this connection. Maybe girl don't feel right to talk to you. Make sure every girl and every woman have that to support well-being. And of course, don't be shy to talk about it. That's it for today. And next, I really want to talk about some taboo topics, and taboo topics will be closed because I won't be able to give them so easily, I'm afraid.